Ladies, gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome again to another edition of TYT Sports WWE News. Thank you again to TYT Sports. I am, of course, Chief Josh Yola, also known as Josh Gibbs. You can catch me at pwpnation.com, also here at TYT Sports. First of all, a big thank you to everybody who has watched these videos, commented on these videos, whether you comment good or bad. I personally appreciate it. I'm trying to get better at this. We're all trying to get better at this. But your views show that pro wrestling has an interest, and that's what we want to see. We want to see that people are genuinely interested in this kind of stuff. So the more you watch, the more you click, the more you like, the more you comment, the more we can make. If you have any ideas, put them in the comment section below, and we'll be sure and throw them out. Now, big news coming out of the WWE, and unfortunately, it is not good news. Seth Rollins, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, has unfortunately sustained an injury known as the unhappy triad. That is a tear of his ACL, MCL, and medial meniscus. It's also known as a blown knee because the ACL and the MCL are two of the primary ligaments needed for the knee to properly function. And what does this mean? This means he's going to be sidelined for at least 6 to 9 months. This injury was sustained in a house show in Dublin, Ireland. He's currently flying back to the US and he'll be undergoing surgery very soon. And this is something that I think highlights just how hard these guys work. I know a lot of people have made comments about, well, pro wrestling isn't a sport, and they're absolutely right. It's not. It's sports entertainment. However, that does not mean that these men and women are not athletes. There is no off-season for professional wrestling. These men and women work 52 weeks a year. Not only do they do the live shows that you see on Monday Night Raw, and then the tape shows that are on TV of SmackDown on Fridays and stuff like that, and then not to mention the NXT specials you can see on the WWE Network, they perform untelevised house shows all over the country and all over the world. So they're working almost round the clock. So these people are really, really putting their bodies out there and taking a beating day in and day out. And unfortunately, as we see in other professional sports like the NFL, an ACL tear is almost a guarantee that you're going to be sidelined for the rest of your season. And unfortunately, that's what happens to Seth Rollins. 6 to 9 months means not only is he going to miss the upcoming pay-per-view of Survivor Series on November 22nd, he is almost certainly going to miss WrestleMania 32 in April of next year. Now, that throws a huge monkey wrench into the WWE's plans. So what are they going to do going forward? Well, for us as fans, it means one thing, and one thing guaranteed above all, that we will get a new champion at Survivor Series. The WWE has already announced that they will be holding a tournament and will culminate at Survivor Series to crown a new champion. So who is that champion going to be? In my humble opinion, I think it is going to be Roman Reigns. Why is it going to be Roman Reigns? It is no secret that Vince McMahon wants Roman Reigns to be the Rock 2.0. He has been groomed to be that since last year. In fact, the original plan for the previous WrestleMania was for Roman Reigns to win. However, the WWE Universe, the fans, you, soundly rejected that. They were booing Roman Reigns so bad at so many pay-per-views. If you remember, if you were watching those, it was painful to watch. I felt bad for the guy because he was working so hard. The fans just didn't want it. They didn't want to see him as champion. They felt as if it was being forced on him. And the WWE will make it known when they feel that something is being forced. And plans were scrapped and altered at the very last minute, and Seth Rollins was crowned as the champion at WrestleMania, and he has held the belt ever since. However, the time is now. Don't think that Vince has forgotten about his plans to make Roman Reigns the new champion and the new face of the company. He needs someone to take that top spot. With Brock Lesnar working such a varied schedule, John Cena is out until December for personal reasons. Randy Orton is out for 6 months for shoulder surgery. Daniel Bryan is on and off with various injuries, and he may not step foot in a WWE ring ever again because of those. They need someone to fill that void. Roman Reigns is that guy. He is the safest bet that they have. So look for them to put the title around his waist at Survivor Series on November 22nd. But there is a catch. There's a caveat to this that we may have to look back into the past to see coming. Survivor Series 1998. You remember 1998. I remember 1998. I was a sophomore in college. Smash Mouth was big. Look, we made bad decisions. It's fine. However, one of the decisions that wasn't that bad was we saw the rise of the original Rock, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the Blue Chipper, as he was called back in those days. He won the Survivor Series of 1998, which gave him his very first heavyweight championship. How did he do it? He did it by turning heel. He aligned himself with Vince McMahon. It was a complete character shift for him, and that sent him on that rocket to the stratosphere and into the WWE legendary status that he has today. Could we see something similar? I think so, but not from Roman Reigns. I don't think Roman Reigns is going to be the one who turns heel at or before Survivor Series. I think it's going to be the lunatic fringe, Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose has been planting the seeds of turning heel for a few weeks now. He keeps doing this buddy-buddy thing with Roman Reigns of, hey, I've got your back and all this stuff. But remember that his character is the lunatic fringe. He's the guy who you don't see coming. He's the one who does the unexpected thing. And the unexpected thing at this point would be turning on his really good friend. So what's the rationale for it? Well, Seth Rollins, a former Shield mate and buddy, has already been the champion. And now another former Shield mate and buddy, Roman Reigns, is poised to win the championship. Both of these guys are winning a championship before Dean Ambrose does? Well, that just doesn't sit right with him. He can't stand that. And it all boils over and it comes to a head. Hopefully it doesn't happen until Survivor Series, but that's where he just can't handle it anymore, and he either interferes in the match, he does something that sets the feud going. I still think Rollins is going to win the belt, and they're going to put it around his waist, but that'll at least give this feud something going forward. It gives Roman Reigns somebody legitimate to feud with in the months leading up to the next WrestleMania. Now, speaking of WrestleMania, we already know Seth Rollins most likely will not compete at WrestleMania 32. So what does that do for the World Heavyweight Championship? What does that do for the title picture? The original plan for WrestleMania, if the rumors are to be believed, was that The Undertaker and Sting was going to be the main event at WrestleMania. Whether or not it was going to be a title match was still up in the air. I just hope that doesn't happen. I really don't want to see The Undertaker and Sting face each other. Now, I know some people have said, oh, that's the dream match. That's a match I've always wanted to see. And sure, I would have liked to have seen that too. 15 years ago. It's the same as the bargument of Tyson versus Ali. Yeah, that would have been a great fight in their prime. Not today. It would be a terrible match right now. The same for Undertaker and Sting. They're both old. They're both slow. I don't want to see a bunch of geriatric meat puppets slamming into each other really slowly in the middle of the ring. It just wouldn't be that great. You know that that's true. We all have love and respect for these guys, but they would not do well against each other. That's why older wrestlers get pitted against younger wrestlers, somebody who can carry them forward in the match, who can help them along and carry the match, keep a good pace going, and make them look good. But the two of them together would not make a good recipe. So I hope that Roman Reigns carries the belt into WrestleMania, possibly has some kind of feud even with The Undertaker. I think Seth Rollins being out is obviously going to change everything, but I think Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker winning at WrestleMania, that's a prospect I don't think Vince can pass up. The Undertaker, as we've discussed before, he knows the end is coming, and what a great way that would be to end up, especially if Vince plans for WrestleMania 32 to be one of the biggest in history. He wants to break that attendance record so bad. The attendance record is still held at WrestleMania 3, over 93,000 people in the Pontiac Silverdome, and WrestleMania 32 being held at Jerry's World in Arlington, Texas. He has a chance to break the record and get over 100,000 people in attendance. Vince wants to do it, and nothing will do that more than having the potential for The Undertaker to win the World Heavyweight Championship and carry that out victorious from Dallas. I mean, it's his home state too. Yeah, true, he's from Houston, but still, what a great ending. It's a storybook ending for people. Will that be his last match? Who knows? I don't think so. Again, it's all on The Undertaker's terms. We'll see what he wants to do. The other thing is, unfortunately, this injury comes at a terrible time for the WWE. The ratings have been slipping, unfortunately, because of DVR and the success of the WWE Network. People are looking at other shows. They're keeping Raw for later, and they're watching it on their own time. So this is really something that the WWE is going to have to scramble to kind of fill in order to make up for this lost time. One thing that people tend to forget is that the WWE loves a returning star. In 2001, Triple H suffered a very, very nasty injury when he tore his quadricep, and he was sidelined for 8 months. And when he left, the McMahon-Helmsley era was in full effect. He was in full heel mode, and everybody just hated his guts. And he was out for 8 months, and he came back in January of 2002, and everybody loved him. He had one of those pops that's reserved for Stone Cold or Mick Foley or somebody like that. And everyone forgot. They didn't care. They were just happy to have him back because they know how hard of a worker he is. And I know the same thing is going to happen for Seth Rollins. People are going to miss him, especially the guy who greases his hair before every match. Well, that's it for me, folks. Survivor Series is coming up. We are going to do another one of these videos post-Survivor Series to talk about the fallout and what it means going forward as we head down the road to WrestleMania. As always, you can please send me a tweet at Chief Joshiola on Twitter. You can leave your comments down below. I make sure and read every comment. I respond to as many as possible, and we'd love to hear what you have to say. If you have questions, comments, good, the bad, and the ugly, we're here to take it. Thanks again to TYT Sports. Check out my articles as well as plenty of other great wrestling-related articles at pwpnation.com, and I'll see you inside the squared circle.